Today on the show, Tom Cruise, sex cake, and troubled testicles.
No, it's not another night out with Andy Cohen. It's the Tweekly News, and it starts right after this cheap animation. Hey, welcome to the Tweekly News,
where we dive deep into Twitter's nexus of nihilism.
I'm Jason Sklar.
And I'm Randy Sklar.
And we are at Sklar Brothers, and we're taking a break from scanning Bobby Brown's wedding registry.
What do you get for the man that has nothing?
I don't care, but I think he's registered at Cracker Barrel.
Did you say Cracker Barrel?
No, I did not. Nor did I see Rock of Ages, Tom Cruise's box office bomb that has generated sarcasm and schadenfreude all over Twitter.
Comedian Andy Kindler tweeted, "I hear Tom Cruise did all of his own stunts in Rock of Ages."
Unfortunately, he also insisted on doing all of his own singing.
His singing was so bad. How bad was it? His singing was so bad, he embarrassed CeCe DeVille. Wow, that is a hard thing to do. Harder than keeping him sober.
Hi-ya! Father's Day inspired some rare public infighting in the Woody Allen household. Ronan Farrow tweeted, "Happy Father's Day," or as they call it in my family, Happy Brother-in-Law's Day.
Mia Farrow then retweeted it and punctuated it with a boom.
Nice to see they've managed to let that thing go.
What's worse, marrying your adopted daughter or asking people to pay money to watch you play the clarinet?
I think we may be focused on the wrong offense, Farrows.
This week, Miley Cyrus made her dad even more uncomfortable when she tweeted, "Felt the spirit in my dreams so hard last night."
Miley, it's called being roofied.
You might want to call the authorities.
Okay, now it's time for our patented and paid for segment, Time to Relearn.
Just like X helps people relearn life without cigarettes with its free quit plan, we learned this week that we need to relearn that we can't always trust Twitter.
That's right. Last week we called out Albert Pujols for one of his tweets, but later learned that it came from a Pujols at Anaheim Albert rather than the actual Albert Pujols who tweets from at Pujols5.
Now, in our defense, there are literally billions of fake Twitter handles out there.
Billions?
We can verify that.
Okay.
Even Jesus has a fake Twitter handle.
At least we think it's fake.
Well, it was down for 3 days in April, then it miraculously came back.
I remember that. Here's one of our favorite tweets from at Jesus. The crappy part about being in the Trinity is that you have to buy your own Father's Day presents, then act surprised after opening them.
Holy crap sauce, that's clever.
Here's an interesting fact. At Jesus only has 496,000 followers. At the Beatles, 829,000 followers.
So the Beatles are more popular than Jesus.
At least on Twitter they are.
Okay, sports fans, it's time to get a little ballsy up in here. It's at sports. Speaking of ballsy, Roger Clemens' shrunken testicles were bouncing all over as news of his acquittal broke on Twitter.
New York Times sports reporter Tyler Kepner tweeted, "Guess that's career win number 355 for William Roger Clemens."
You know, that's a great point. Congratulations, Roger. You're a winner like many other high-profile figures who were wrongly accused and then later acquitted. Folks like John Edwards, Robert Blake,
yes,
and O.J. Simpson.
The juice!
Now, even though each tweet maxes out at 140 characters, a cool twit pic is worth 1,000 characters.
This is Pick This.
Country singer and all-around crazy girlfriend Leanne Rimes tweeted this with a caption. "Eddie's favorite B-Day cake at my sweet and saucy. Love there was a Lakers jersey, a Bronco, and a paddleboard and more."
All right, let's break this picture down. It looks like she and Eddie are having sex on top of the cake, which is a bed. Meanwhile, one delicious layer lower, Eddie's kids are being forced to hang out while they finish.
So not only do Eddie's kids have to suffer through the humiliation of being on that cake, they now have to suffer the humiliation of watching Leanne give their father that cake. Then to add insult to injury, they're gonna have to eat that cake.
Because you know Leanne's not touching it.
Oh, you know she ain't.
I'm good on the inappropriate sex cake.
Now, before we log off, it's time for our end of show tweets to retweet.
This is where we highlight tweets from people we follow who we think you should follow too. This week, Family Guy Seth MacFarlane tweeted, "At this point, Blockbuster employees are basically hospice workers."
Which explains why the only VHS that continues to rent well there is Cocoon.
Won't grow old and we're never gonna die.
You're talking about Blockbuster, right?
I am indeed. Hey, thanks for watching the Tweekly News.
And don't forget to follow at the Tweekly News. And if you want more of the Tweekly News, go to becomeanx.org/sklar for exclusive content, outtakes,
And of course, Bobby Brown's complete wedding registry. You know, there's a lot of glassware on that.
and a lot of spoons.
I didn't know you could register for aluminum foil.
You can.
Wow.
Apparently you can at Williams-Sonoma.
Weird.
Almost as bad as keeping him sober.
Almost as hard as keeping him sober. Good read. Father's Day
Even though
inspired...
it says bad in the prompter.
That never got changed.
Dumb
You're an idiot. Can't roll with the changes.